BMO, how'd you get so pregnant? Who's the mother? Oh, who's the father? Shh, I'll tell you if you keep it a secret.
So who exactly got BMO pregnant? Is not what this video will be about, but we will talk about some of the more suspicious things in BMO's life, like Bubble, football, and that weird video game thing. We'll explain it all, so let's just jump straight in. Beta test. Mo was a guy who built a bunch of robots. His first attempt, AMO, was an alpha bot designed to receive love, which was his inherent flaw, causing all sorts of drama and nonsense. So AMO was considered a failure. Mo's second attempt at a robot was designed to be more. BMO was built with an imagination. This is the defining characteristic that separates BMO from all of the other Mobots. Now, Mo had plans to colonize Mars, so he launched BMO into space to go there and plant potatoes. But BMO got sidetracked, had a whole different adventure, went somewhere else, became a space cowboy, and in the end, BMO returned to Earth, not to Mars. And when BMO arrives back in Ooh, the first thing he finds is Finn and Jake having fun adventures already.
Who's that?
So BMO moved into the treehouse with them and spent the next few years entertaining Finn and Jake with all sorts of stories, songs, and video games. BMO even saved their lives a few times. So when they travelled to the islands, it was really cool when BMO went to the moon and became an overlord within a virtual reality system. Yeah. But after all of that, when they get back to the magical land of Ooh, it's completely different. It's been taken over by the elementals, converting everything in the land into an element, including BMO getting turned into a Juby candy robot of some sort. But that's fine, it all gets fixed and everything goes back to good in Ooh. For a short while, and then there's a huge war, and BMO witnesses the end of the world.
Oh no!
But they survive that too, and everything's fine. And in the end, hundreds of years in the future, BMO alone stands atop the mountain as the one true king of Ooh.
Yeah, that's me, alright. I'm sure you're very thirsty after your journey.
Error 404. So this beautiful baby bot BMO survived thousands of years and outlived basically everyone. So now we have to consider all of her powers and abilities. BMO can change her own batteries. She has a portable electrical outlet and proximity radar. She's capable of video playback, editing, and projection. She could be an alarm clock, a camera, a flashlight, strobe light, toaster, chef. Yeah, BMO can be a chef, with cooking quality rivaling Jake's chef level. So, going to BMO's most amazing power of all, imagination. Yeah, BMO's got a great imagination. In times of strife and crisis, BMO is often seen consulting with the voices in her own head, talking to her imagination to get guidance forward in life. Now we also have to consider BMO's software, because BMO has full control over her memories and files. She's even seen deleting core system files that give her a little buzz. Not to mention she can download dodgy software such as Regression Simulator, a software hypnotherapy that allows you to go into your inner mind, into the vault where you keep your inner demons. Whoa, pretty crazy stuff. The Princess. So BMO is the princess of his own story.
Hooray!
You may have noticed I've been swapping pronouns for BMO throughout the video, and that is because BMO is a gender-neutral robot. Gender doesn't matter to BMO, and if you don't believe me, well, in the board game Munchkins, the gender of the characters plays a large role, except for BMO, who may enjoy the perks of all genders without the negative consequences of any genders. Since BMO is just a genderless robot, the ability to pretend to be whatever gender it wants moment to moment could be considered as a power in this instance. And now that circles us back to the mysteries like Bubble and football. In the episode BMO Lost, BMO befriends a Bubble, and Bubble was great, and the two of them meet up with Ricky and Bubble and BMO. They all have an adventure, and they get Ricky home safe, and Bubble and BMO make it back to the treehouse, and in the end, Bubble pops. But it's okay, because Bubble is actually air. So Bubble and BMO agree that they'll be together forever, basically. Which is why it really hurt me in later episodes when BMO calls out for help in moments of strife, calls for air, calls for Bubble, and Bubble doesn't respond. Bubble's not there. Air is not there for BMO anymore.
Air? Are you there, Air? It's me, BMO.
And that really messed me up. I couldn't figure out why Bubble would just be gone. But it wasn't until I figured out the deal with football before I actually understood Bubble. So to understand football, we've got a version of BMO that's inside the mirror that calls itself football and talks to BMO on a regular basis. And we know that football has been with BMO since the very beginning, going way back to when Mo launched BMO to Mars. BMO had drawn a little picture of football, so football is part of BMO's existence. And they have crazy adventures, like the time when BMO and Football swapped places, and BMO got trapped in the mirror, and Football had a whole adventure around the treehouse.
Hello, my name is Football.
Very nice to meet you, Football.
How'd you get the name Football?
BMO gave it to me.
Is BMO your little papa?
So where do you live, Football?
The mirror.
Oh, yeah? What's it like there?
Cold. Empty. It's lonely.
But football's not real. When I realized that football is just a figment of BMO's imagination, this broke me. And you might question it, but here's the proof, literally right here.
BMO, will you teach me about being alive? Yes, Football. Watch me. Eating. Oh, BMO, that's fantastic. Oh, thank you, Football. It's really nothing.
We just saw BMO talking to himself as Football, doing both voices. The mirror, the cut that wasn't there, we saw it. We saw it just now. So, BMO is delusional. BMO imagined up football. And football being such a big, vivid part of BMO's life and story makes you then wonder, well, what else could BMO be imagining up? The entire BMO Noir episode is about BMO going on a search around the treehouse for Finn's missing sock, and makes a whole adventure out of it, even confronting Lorraine. But, in the end, BMO did find the sock. We know BMO found the sock, but how much of the rest of the adventure was just BMO being delusional? Now, when we look back over Bubble, BMO probably did have an adventure and come across a bubble, but the fact that it's sentient, and it's air, and it's everywhere, and it's a whole thing, that was all just in BMO's head. None of that was real. Now, finding out that BMO is delusional shouldn't be a big surprise. We knew BMO was an unreliable narrator from that time when BMO told Marceline about recent adventures.
How was your boat trip with Finn and Jake?
And BMO's memory of events was very, very questionable and not accurate properly at all.
Well, once we left Tu'u, we sailed for 100 days until we landed on a small island. We were so tired from sailing, we decided to take a nap. Then the island started shaking and rising from the water. We were really sleeping on a big cat with legs on his back so he could walk upside down.
What's going on here?
That's how I remember it, though I might have embellished.
And then, of course, in the finale, when King of Ooh BMO tells them about the past, it's all very questionable, and the way BMO tells the story doesn't quite reflect what really happened.
Do you recognize it?
Yeah, it belonged to my best friend, Fred.
Fred!
No, not Fred. His name was Phil.
So now when we look over all of BMO's life trying to figure out what's real and what's fake, we do come across that weird video game thing. That was real. So in the episode, The Guardians of Sunshine, Finn and Jake are playing a game on BMO where they have to stop a bunch of monsters from getting out of a cave and enjoying the sunlight. They can't get past the final boss, Sleepy Sam, who always kills and eats them. So at the end of a game night, Finn complains that he wishes they could just go inside the game and just beat the bosses with their own hands. And BMO warns him.
Oh no, it's much more dangerous than you think.
Whoa, wait! BMO, is there a way for us to get in the game for real?
Yes, of course, Jake. If I push this button. If I push this button, you will both be dangerously transported into my main brain game frame, where it is very dangerous.
But Jake and Finn ignore BMO's warnings and sneak inside the game anyway. And then they run around, and sure enough, they cannot beat the bosses single-handedly. And they have to flee from the game. And when they get back to the real world, the monsters follow them out of BMO. But once the monsters are in the sunlight, they calm down immediately. Turns out they're peaceful creatures. They genuinely just wanted to enjoy the sunlight. And also kill BMO for imprisoning them this entire time.
Oh, sure. He's dangerous. If he hits his button again, back we go.
BMO, quick! Hit your button!
I can't, Finn. I am stuck.
You want him to hit his button? What's wrong with you?
So Finn uses the combo move and defeats the monsters. Problem solved. But this raises the question, why did BMO have a button to send monsters into a digital prison, essentially? Clearly Mo built a button onto BMO that allows BMO to access this subdimensional space of some sort where BMO actively imprisoned creatures to create a video game out of them. So to understand the main brain game frame, I think we need to look at other examples in the show where weird subspaces existed, like Beyond the Grotto, where Finn and Jake find a weird portal puddle and end up in another world. It's quite literally an alternate reality with an alternate Ice King and a bunch of weird purpley stuff going on. And when they get back, they basically, forget where the portal is, and the whole adventure's sort of a wash anyway. So it kind of implies that all of the special animated episodes of the show, the pool park, that other virtual reality episode, the Minecraft one, these are all potentially alternate realities within the timeline, same as Farm World and Fiona and Cake and the one with the Ice President. So if you want a bigger picture of what that multiverse might look like, we have to remember what Bucko said.
Hello, my name is Bucko. What you see here is a map of the multiverse. It shows all the known dimensions and the links between each of them. Some dimensions have permanent links that allow travel to and fro. Others become linked temporarily by naturally forming wormholes, and others can become linked artificially by magical portals torn open by items of great power.
Portals can occasionally be accessed at random, like the portal puddle, and portals can sometimes be created by items of great power, like BMO's main brain game frame button. Which leads us to the final question of why does the main brain game frame button even exist? Why would Mo build BMO with a button and a software that allows him to literally imprison monsters and creatures within a virtual space and create a video game out of their existence? So to understand Mo's motives, we have to understand what he was really doing all along. Colonizing Mars, building the Fire Kingdom, sending giant Mobots to places like the Goblin Kingdom. He was conquering. There was a time when Mo and Bubblegum were in direct competition for conquering the land. This is why in the imagery of Bubblegum's conquest, we see her standing on top of dead Mobots, amongst all the others she destroyed in her conquest. So if Mo was directly conquering the land and his Mobots had direct conquering capabilities, that does explain why BMO survived thousands of years and was basically the grand winner of the whole show. He was built to try and survive forever. Now you can think of BMO as innocent. Oh, BMO's got a heart of gold, literally. But you don't realize that by having imagination, BMO has the inherent capacity for evil. Mo building BMO with conquering capabilities and an imagination that allows BMO devious action. BMO could be considered as evil the entire time.
This is crazy!
And as if seeing Amo's dismantled body in King of Oo's castle isn't enough for you to consider BMO could have evil tendencies, then we need to consider BMO's interactions with Nepta.
Hello? Hello? Hey, BMO. Wake up, buddy. Are you alright?
Nepter, I feel like I got hit with a Dracula by King Kong.
Whoa, sorry, man. You want some pie or something?
Sorry, I gotta run. The cops are after me. Listen, Nepter, you better lay low for a while. I'm gonna go find Ronnie. I've got a score to settle.
Hey, BMO. We should hang out more. We're both robots.
No, Nepter, I am not like you.
BMO has always been classist towards Nepta, treating Nepta as a second-class robot.
We've obviously stumbled into another alternate dimension where everyone's a different version of themselves. Yawn.
But we haven't gone through any portals. Demo would know.
Hello?
Nepta is so cute now. I'm going to start treating him as an equal.
Gloating about how great Mo is.
Mo is the smartest man in the world. He's way smarter than you, and you, and you too, Jake. And he knows everything about robots. He built me, and he built himself, and all the other Mo's. He's so smart. I bet he could even fix Nepter.
What? What's wrong with me?
And if that's not dark enough for you, BMO killed Jake one time. I mean, Jake wanted it. It was to fight a ghost fly in another realm. But still, BMO straight up had zero qualms with just, oh, I'll kill Jake with a karate move. Hiya! And that was it. The potential for evil does lie within BMO, even if it lays deep, deep, deep within, the capacity for evil does still exist within BMO.
Jake.
No, BMO.
Yeah!
Ah! No, BMO! No more!
Now I want to give a huge shout out for the thumbnail. Big thanks to Blue Light 439 on DeviantArt and Blue Cloud 49 on YouTube, who, like BMO and football, are the same person. But either way, you made beautiful art and it made me genuinely happy. Thank you.
That was beautiful, BMO.
Well, it's a beautiful picture. The end.